Hello guys, so in this video I'm going to talk about what I did in the last month. Actually not even a month, okay, from the beginning of February. And I think I had my exams when it was Feb 19, maybe I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, so it was like around some 20 days that I got to prepare for my exams. And let me say what was my state when I was by the end of January, okay. So basically by the end of January, all that I could complete was one shots of all the three core subjects, physics, chemistry and maths, and then also revise the notes which I took while doing the one shots. Yeah, I revised those notes. And pretty much with English I don't read much. Actually I didn't give a lot of time to English. Basically what I did was, with every exams and tests conducted in the school, I just read the summary of the chapter, know the author introduction, and then for part B, obviously creative writing, you just know little bit of stuffs, I mean the format of every questions, and then go for the exams. So that is what I did for English. I didn't do much uh, with English for the entire year. And for computer science, I had pretty much read the book for at least 3 to 4 times, okay. um, Sumita Arora book. Okay, that book is literally like just the concept. I didn't even practice. I did practice questions. Actually, even for queries, I did a lot of practice for questions, but still, to a very large extent, for my good marks, I would say concept was the thing that actually helped me more. Typically, reading the book. Okay, reading the book again and again, like revising the concepts. So I actually used to read the book like some storybook. I just used to sit and read the book, and that's how I approached computer science. So by that time I had some practice of queries and little bit of program practices. Along with that, I had read the book for at least 3 to 4 times, Sumita Arora book. This is where I stand by the end of January. And for the three core subjects, I had no practice of questions, literally. Obviously little bit of practice here and there would be there, because schools are conducting exams and you are having your internals and stuffs. Yeah, things would be going on in your school, and you would have little bit of practice, but thorough practice of questions, previous year questions, sample papers, no, it was not there. So it is beginning in the month of Feb. So what I thought was, I would allot 6 to 7 days. Actually, I allotted 7 days for physics. Okay, like first exam is physics. So 7 days before the first exam, I would start. I would completely dedicate only for physics. Okay, so even in the 20 or 19 days given, 7 days is taken for physics for the revision on the exam days. So I have around 15 days. No, 7 days is taken. So I have around 12 to 13 days. So I had to put more focus on core subjects as I didn't have proper practice. So I went on doing questions, okay, 10 year PAQ, but I couldn't complete 10 years, okay. All I could complete was in those 12 to 13 days. Physics, I was able to complete around, to say exactly, some, yeah, 3 years, last 3 year PAQ. And talking about chemistry, 3 years, max only 2 years, okay. So this is where I stood after 12 days, actually 7 days before the first exam. That is where I am. Literally 3 years of POQs and 2 years for mathematics. uh, Apart from that, talking about my scheduling, okay, basically I couldn't pull off the same amount of time for every day. I mean, in the beginning, the highest I could pull off in a day was around 8 to 9 hours for studies alone, and in average I could pull off around 4 to 5 hours a day. And minimal, the least I did was 1 to 2 hours. There was no day where I didn't do anything, and there was no day that I was so dedicated that I could at least sit for half a day. I didn't even reach 12 hours a day once. uh, the highest I could do was 8 hours to 9 hours, and that itself was too frustrating for me, like sitting straight 8 hours in front of the book. Oh my god, yeah. Thinking about the students who are doing JEE and NEET and all. Oh my god. For me, actually, CBSE boards itself is like, was like big burden. And thinking about them, all I could say is some great job, guys. Whether you crack it or no, but having the guts to try for it and giving you a full for it. There are students who just write JE for simply, they just write for no reasons, just for the sake of writing. There are students like that, but there are students who are dedicatedly working on this. Hats off, guys. So whether you get it or not, all I could say is hats off. uh, let's get to our boards thing. Okay, so that is where I stand by 1 week before the exams. So on the exam gap days, what I do in the gap days, talking about physics, I actually saw a series in YouTube calling Gyara Saval Pakka, like from Vedant to JE made EG, I think so, that is the channel's name. And yeah, physics, the series from physics was quite good. I would suggest you to go for it if you think you are in a place where you have time. Okay, because when you watch the video, okay, it is literally like doing a half one shot. Seriously, it takes around 2 hours and for each video, and each video contains around 2 chapters in it. Okay, questions of 2 chapters. So basically you would get a good revision of those chapters considering physics, as well as some important questions. Okay, but still, if you sit for that, you might take up the entire 1 week in watching this video and practicing only those 11 questions, and you wouldn't have very much of practice. So I would suggest you go for this Gyara Saval Pakka series only if you have more time. If you think that you are about to complete your 10 years series, or you are quite good at solving the questions, and you think you could try out, check it out on how it is going, or if you want to revise the questions or important topics, go for it. Else I wouldn't suggest it. Okay, I didn't complete that series. I actually began with that series, but I understood the trap. Okay, the entire year I was watching one shot and taking notes and revising the notes, but at this point it is actually similar thing. You are watching in your mobile, seeing how the question is solved and solving, seeing it. You are not getting real experience. Like, real experience means you are not seeing the solution or how is solving. You have to solve it by your own. So yeah, so I did around 6 to 7 chapters from that series. I wouldn't say there is a mistake with the series or something wrong with the series. It was time consuming for me, so I thought self practice was more needed at that point of time for me. So I kept the series away and then went with solving questions by my own. And the book I used, I would have told about the book in my previous videos as well. I mentioned it here as well. Maybe the book is being on the display right now. So actually this book contains a particular amount of questions, around 20 to 25 questions in each chapter, which would be marked as board questions. Okay, so I practiced those questions for every chapter. Honestly, yeah, 20 to 25 questions. So with 14 chapters, 214, 28, 280, around 300 questions. So that is what I had solved before going for physics.
Additionally, I would like to tell about a resource that was quite critical in my preparation during that period, and that is Abhishek Sahu sir's most important derivation video. Okay, so it contains around some 45 important derivations in it. So that was kind of useful for me during that period of time.
But one thing I thought was I would complete all this question solving in the 6 days. Okay, and the last seventh day I would revise every chapter once again. That was the plan for all the three subjects, but I couldn't pull that off for any subject. But it is really great if you could pull off everything before that last day and could um, revise everything again once again in the last day. That would be really great. Talking about chemistry, I went with a similar strategy, but I didn't go with that Gyara Saval Pakka series. I wouldn't suggest you guys as well, because it was not even chapter wise. Okay, literally it is for organic, inorganic, and physical chemistry. So it was just 3 videos, and 3 videos, 11 questions, 33 questions. I don't think it is worth the time. So I wouldn't suggest you for chemistry. Um, Apart from that, what I did for chemistry was revise my one-shot notes, and then um, solve those board mark question in that book. So that's with chemistry.
And again I missed adding one more resource for chemistry, and that is Bharat Panchal sir's video about important organic reactions, I mean conversions, and then distinguish test questions, and also naming reactions. Yeah, those were also critical in preparing in those exam gap days. I actually took the notes of those videos and had revised them every day. Okay. Yeah, I revised them every day apart from solving the questions and revising the one shot notes.
And talking about mathematics, what I did was similar. I revised the one shot notes, actually not the notes, questions. Okay, I solved those questions and then solve the questions in that board marked thing. That's all. That is what I did for the 13th chapter in the gap days. For mathematics, chemistry I told you, physics I told you.
I also wanted to mention this, that the 11 Saval Pakka series for Max was pretty impressive. I actually didn't see the entire series for Max. I just watched one video of application of integrals, but yeah, it was pretty impressive.
So these were the things I did in the gap days. For English I just got 2 days. On those 2 days I spent a huge amount on remembering the author's names and details about the author. Actually, the question doesn't demand you to write about the author, obviously, in those 5 marks, but I don't know why. Teachers suggest me, like, not even suggest, they tell me to give author introduction before writing the answer of whatever chapter I'm writing about. So, in the last long answer part, so I had to know all the author's introduction. So I spent a good amount of time in remembering the stuffs like years and things. uh, Apart from that, yeah, went on with the summary. Again, I read the summary of every chapter once. Apart from that, what did I do? Yeah, nothing else, just saw the formats for the creative writing part and went for the exam. Talking about computer science, the best thing, okay, I solved the entire Sumita Arora. Like, I had 2 weeks of time. Okay, so I solved really well, and I even got time for revising the chapter once. I read the book once on the last 2 days. Guys, if you are asking me sources or resources for computer science, I wouldn't suggest you anything. Just go with Sumita Arora. That one book is more than enough. Be thorough on it, and you are going to blast your exam. So that's with computer science. So I told you what was my condition in the beginning of February and 1 week before the exam, and how I approached the gap days for each subject. And now here I am completing the video. um, See you in the next video, guys. The next video is going to be, okay, let it be a surprise. See you in the next video, guys.